the dynamic has changed.
Yeah.
You used to have one home, it was here, and you shared kitchen space and all that stuff, and you lived under the rules of the house. That was normal. And now there's a new normal. You've moved away. You have a new space that you're calling home, which is fine, but now there's two sets of rules. What you can't do is try to bring your set of rules from your dorm room
How you live
back
there.
to this place,
Right.
because this place runs by a whole different set of rules. I recently posted a picture of the two of us and our son Michael when he came home for fall break for like 5 days. I wrote, I don't know if I'm going to be in a big hurry to bring main man back from college this next break. He didn't take too kindly to my instruction to cut the grass. And I put a smiley face because I'm joking, but I'm serious. He wasn't too enthused about cutting the grass. He only been gone for 2 months. Penelope left a comment in response, and she said, my freshman twins came home for a visit after being at college for only a couple weeks, and they treated our home like they were in a hotel and I was on the maid staff. What? I was shocked and disappointed. Hubby was displeased, to put it mildly. Hubby's advice to the twins, you're still a member of this family. This is still your home, ... for now. Household rules still apply to you, including when you come home. Weekends, holidays, school breaks, your chores will resume. You want new rules, find a new home. Do not darken my doorway if you choose not to respect the rules of this household.
Amen to that.
You better talk, bro.
Amen to that.
She then goes on to say, the only thing hubby and I disagree about is giving the kids the impression that our home will not always be their home. He wanted to convert their rooms as soon as they left for college. Remind you of anyone?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. 100%. I will absolutely raise my hand to that.
Those discussions were heated. I have always told all of our children that wherever I live will always be home to them. They can come back as often as they need to, for as long as they need to, as long as they are being productive and working on reaching their goals. And I'm going to say thank you so much for that comment. That was excellent.
Absolutely. We gotta laugh at that. And not because it was funny, but because it was so relatable.
Yeah, that's actually the two voices that go on in my head. Voice one is, we've always said when the kids were little, we were like, we want to have the house where their friends come and kick it. Like we'll have like a rec room and they can go watch movies and stuff with their teammates and all that stuff. And so there's that underlying feeling like, yeah, you want to have home, like still be a central location for your home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in practicality and reality, I really don't.
Yeah. There's so much to that response. Okay, so the first part was why I chuckled, because I remember it had to be like within 24 to 36 hours after Mike got home. I walked past the table and there's like leftover food, there's crumbs, there's the bowl, there's the glass that's still got juice or whatever in it, and I'm thinking to myself, yep, he's home. He's home. Him and his crumbs and his trash are home. That's very frustrating because we know that we've raised our kids to clean up after themselves.
But now they got their own space.
Don't leave a mess, don't be a nasty person, clean up after yourself, right? But how we have raised them and how they go out into the world and practice the things or not practice the things that we've taught them can be frustrating at times. And then when you come home and you do this, here's the other thing. In our conversation, we're talking about, how did you leave your room before you came here? And he somehow mentioned that, no, he hadn't emptied the trash. And so now we're asking more questions like, you didn't empty the trash. Like, what was in the trash before you left your room for several days? And he's like, well, food that I had eaten. And we're like, so you left empty containers of food in your room?
In the dorm room.
In the dorm room before you left? You didn't empty your trash? It's like, no. And we're both looking at each other like, ugh. And so when he leaves here, because we didn't check, lo and behold, in his trash, there's food containers in his trash in his room. And so it's very frustrating. You absolutely want your kids to come back. You want to enjoy them while they're here, but there are definitely things that we still struggle with. Like, that's not going to work for me. The way that you live and the way that you're living in your dorm is not going to work here.
Yeah. And so another comment that he made when he was here was he was ready to go back.
Yeah.
To home,
yes.
Which is what he calls like his dorm room is home now,
yes.
Which I get because there's a ton of freedom and autonomy that happened there. And you can live your life there.
Yeah.
You just, now the dynamic has changed.
Yeah.
You used to have one home, it was here, it was a room, and you shared kitchen space and all that stuff, and you lived under the rules of the house. That was normal. And now there's a new normal. You've moved away. You have a new space that you're calling home, which is fine. But now there's two sets of rules. What you can't do is try to bring your set of rules from your dorm room
How you live
back
there.
to this place.
Right.
Because this place runs by a whole different set of rules.
Right.
Which you know, don't try to come in and change them. Like,
Right.
you know what they are, live by them, or figure out
Or
how
don't.
to extend your stay in your new home.
Right. It's funny because when he said, "Man, I really miss what I feel is home now," and there was the college me who was like, "I totally get it. You know, once you go away to college, it becomes home.
Mm-hmm.
What used to be home feels like second home. It doesn't offend me. I totally get it. I have walked in those shoes. I totally agree with you." But when he said it, then in my mind, I was like, "Boy, I'm ready for you to go home too, because if I got to clean up behind you one more time." The other thing is, he was going somewhere. And he just came downstairs and walked right. He was walking right out the door. We were like, "What? Where are you going?" and there was this whole like attitude on his face, like, "I don't have to do this. This isn't what I do when I'm at school." And we like, "Yeah, buddy, but you're not at school."
Just bringing that up.
You need to recognize where you are.
You're gonna get me steamed up at him. He's not even here. He didn't even do anything. He's somewhere right now minding his own business, and I'm
you
about to
mad?
get steamed up right over something you brought up.
Yeah, man, he got an attitude about being checked right before he walked out the door, and we were
Again.
like, "Yeah, buddy, this ain't where you think you are."
Yeah, we're back to that same thing. You're right. Where you control the universal laws of, you can do that there.
Right.
But you can't then think that is the rule set that travels with you when you're on other people's dime.
Right. I totally agree with you. And I'll be honest with you, I am very concerned about when he comes back from...
Because of COVID, because of the new schedule as a result of the pandemic. The kids are coming home for much longer than they were regular college years.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not concerned about COVID at all. I'm concerned about him and his attitude coming home. Like, you know, what are we going to be dealing with? I think the next time he comes home, we need to have a conversation like, you come through the door, first we wash your clothes, and then we need to sit down and have a conversation and talk about how things are going to run while you're here. Because the way it went last time that's not going to work for me.
That was my point, is when you were in school or any regular year of college, kids come home for Thanksgiving, they're home for 4 or 5 days. They go back to college. Right before Christmas, they come home, they stay for 2 weeks through New Year's, they go back to college. Now, because of the pandemic, kids come home for Thanksgiving and they're home for the entire month of December.
Yeah.
And then they don't go back to school again until after New Year's. So they're home for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So thank you,
I'm
pandemic,
concerned.
for messing that up.
Right. And I'm sure, you know, he's going to miss school or just being away as much as we are going to miss not having to deal with some of the issues we're going to have to deal with. Chores is definitely going to be an issue. I'm not even sure how we're going to deal with money because he's going to be home for 2 months with no job.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't have a job. You need to get your job together now.
Yeah, we know better. We're going to have a lot to talk about when he gets home.
Okay. Well, dear parents, help us out. We need to hear from you. We'd love to get your opinions on all these things.
We'd love to get your opinions on what you're going to do for Christmas, for the holiday break. Like, what are your plans? What are you thinking? Any ideas you have? If you've done this before, what did you do?
Help.
Yes, we are at help right now.